Hello everyone, this is Miriam, holistic life coach and mind-body practitioner at Pain Outside the Box. And I'd like to start out this video by reminding you that everyone, with no exceptions, suffers from mind-body syndrome from time to time. And what this means is that everyone experiences some sort of symptoms that are linked to emotional factors like stress, anxiety, fear, or whatever. But not everyone suffers from chronic TMS or mind-body syndrome pain, and there's a reason why. And I'm going to start by explaining this reason by getting you to compare two different scenarios. So let's take Jack. So Jack is a stressed out working father who lately has been feeling really uncomfortable with the demands being put on him at work. So he's been feeling irritated, frustrated. He's been having neck pain as well, which he is blaming on his desk setup and on his long hours at work because he is not aware of mind-body syndrome. The thing is, Jack has a clever wife who notices that he is not emotionally okay, who notices that his work is taking a great toll on him, and one day she tells him, listen, maybe this is not worth it. Maybe you deserve better. Why not apply for this other job? Why not consider doing this other thing? And luckily also, Jack has changed jobs several times before, so he is used to the idea of changing something when he is not happy about it. So at one point, he reaches a boiling point, his neck pain flares up. He's still blaming the desk because he doesn't know about TMS and that actually his pain can come from just his anger and stressors. But he knows that he's not happy. He has his wife's support. He feels guilty for not spending enough time with his wife and kid. And finally, Jack snaps and he says okay, I quit. He starts looking into other opportunities, and within a month or two, he actually finds a better job. Of course, he gets qualms and fears. What if this job isn't that great after all? What if it's going to be worse? But, he has this feeling when he goes for the interview, when he gets the offer, he gets this feeling that it's going to be better. And things actually work out for Jack in his new job. At first, he's still cautious about having the perfect desk set up so that he doesn't get the neck pain. But eventually, he feels so comfortable at his job and with his colleagues that he forgets all about the neck pain. Even when his desk setup changes a little bit, he doesn't even remember, he doesn't even notice. And so his old TMS, mind-body pain, is gone as he is living a happier and more balanced life. So he has more of a sense of fulfillment. He enjoys spending more time with his wife and kid. And basically, he is living more in alignment with his true priorities and values. Now, let's take a different situation. Let's take Julie. So Julie is a working mom, and she's also very stressed at work. But Julie isn't used to changing career when she's not happy or to changing job because she has this belief that it's going to be difficult. She has this belief that her options are limited. And her current job actually offers her some degree of flexibility, at least on paper. She can work 6 hours instead of 8 hours, and she thinks that's good because she also needs time to spend with her kid. The thing is, the demands that are being put on her and the way she's being treated at work by some of her colleagues are actually unacceptable. And so Jane feels unhappy and her confidence is really low because her colleagues are kind of bullying her or criticizing her all the time. So she feels really unsafe at work. But the thing is, she doesn't see an outlet. And even maybe the friends that she has, they also don't support or encourage her to change, because everyone else is also complaining about how hard it is at their place of work. So she's surrounded by negative mindsets, by people telling her that, listen, it's always going to be hard. Maybe it's better, you're better off staying where you are. And so Julie thinks that her options are limited, and she thinks that there is no way out of her current situation. Because of this, Julie develops low back pain, and she also blames it on her sitting position initially. And the back pain gets worse and worse, to the point where eventually she has to take sick leave, and to the point where eventually she has to quit her job. And she thinks that she's the unluckiest person in the world, because she can't even work and support herself, because her back problems are actually preventing her from working. And she thinks that it's her back problems that got her to quit her job in the end. And now, if you have some knowledge of how TMS works, mind-body pain sometimes is there to try and get us out of a situation that we perceive to be dangerous for us, or really unpleasant, emotionally disturbing. And actually, Julie's situation was this kind of situation, right? She was feeling devastated by her colleagues' attitudes, by her work demand. She was feeling helpless. She was feeling stuck. So her brain and body went like, okay, this is really not okay. We need to get out of this as fast as we can. And so her back pain intensified to the point that she had no choice. So just because she didn't get to do a conscious choice to change her job and leave her job and look for a better career, actually, her brain and body made the decision for her, and eventually she had to quit. But the problem is that Julie never realizes that her back pain came up due to her emotional state. And because of this, she's also scared to look for another job. In fact, she doesn't even see that option anymore, because she thinks that her back pain will prevent her from doing any kind of job. She thinks that her back pain is going to interfere with her whole life, and she views herself as a victim. And basically, that's it. And this is why some people get 30, 40 years of TMS pain, because they never end up living in alignment with their true values and priorities, and also because they keep believing that there is something wrong with the body, that they are broken, and that there is no hope. Now, I don't want to sound judgmental. In fact, there's a reason why I went a little bit into detail when it comes to these two individuals' fictional situations, right? So I emphasized, if you remember correctly, I emphasized the fact that Jack had his wife's wisdom and support to back him up. I also mentioned the fact that for Julie, she was brought up believing different things about how careers worked. She was brought up thinking that, you most likely you're going to be, working in the same career all your life. And she was also surrounded by rather negative friends and family who told her that, it's better the devil better not change after all. So she did feel stuck, and it's also the environment also plays a part. So I don't want to blame Julie for not being aware, because most of us, let's face it, are not aware of mind-body syndrome until later in life, until we actually go to Dr. Google and accidentally, luckily, stumble upon TMS and mind-body syndrome. So there is not enough education. But you can see the difference, even though also Jack didn't have enough education when it came to TMS. He managed not to develop chronic neck pain because his circumstances were different, because he had support, because he believed that things can change for the better, because he was able to say, listen, I shouldn't accept this anymore. I cannot take this anymore. Let me change something, even though there are risks, even though, I might still not be so happy, but he did something that felt in alignment with his priorities and values. Whereas unfortunately, Julie didn't get to the stage because her environment didn't allow for it, okay? So I just don't want to be judgmental, because I know that every individual situation is different. But I also know that if you're looking up mind-body syndrome and TMS, you've already embarked on a self-awareness journey, and you're already much better off than Julie, because you know something now, and you know that you can do something to improve your physical and mental well-being. And you know that a lot of chronic symptoms actually result due to mind-body syndrome, due to us feeling threatened or unhappy or dissatisfied in some way. And the topic of this video was actually meant to be how to live in alignment with your true values and priorities in order to avoid chronic pain or to overcome it. So a lot of people think that they need to work a lot on their fears of pain, which is true, and their beliefs and their past traumas, which is all true, okay? So that's part of the work. But I often feel that there is another part to the work that is often overlooked, and that's the alignment part. So once you know what your stressors are, once you've done the journaling, the self-awareness work, and you know what's bothering you, or you know what's scaring you, there's usually always something or other that you can do in order to start living more in alignment with your true wishes and desires. And this is different for everyone. So for some people, it can be changing career or starting their own business. For some people, it can be ending a relationship if this relationship is being toxic or abusive. For some people, it can be getting aware that their own beliefs are preventing them from making a change or from taking a risk that would indeed be beneficial for them. So this is why the self-awareness work always comes first, and then the alignment comes second. So first, you become more aware of what makes you feel stressed or anxious. What are the common themes that come up in your journaling or in your self-talk? Or what are the common feelings that you carry around, and what's the issue behind them? Is it a relationship issue? Is it a career issue? Is it a guilt issue? Is it a procrastination issue? So you have to look a little bit deep to see what's keeping you stuck, and what can you do differently that would make you feel better. And then the alignment work comes later. So once you filter through all of these feelings and you identify areas of improvement, you actually start taking action. And there is an excuse that's so common and that I want you to be aware of. And that excuse is, I cannot change anything before my pain is gone. I understand where you're coming from, because pain can prevent you from being very active or proactive. But the thing is, if you take that small step, at least, towards the change, you should be taking it before the pain is gone, because this is what is going to help you get rid of chronic pain. If you're living in alignment with your true values and priorities, you're going to be happier, you're going to be more satisfied and prouder of yourself. Automatically, that's going to relax your nervous system. That's going to make you feel so good with yourself. So even though you might think that, changing career is impossible because you feel physically limited, maybe you can start with looking at the first steps, looking at the opportunities, seeing what's out there, seeing what the options are. That's already getting into alignment. That's already taking action, okay? Then you might say okay, I might apply for this job and see how I feel when I'm interviewed. Or if I'm accepted, then I will decide later, depending on how I feel. But at least you're taking some sort of action. In another context, you might decide that it's time to speak to someone about a significant issue because you realize that it keeps coming up in your journaling, that it keeps making you feel awful, and that you need to change something. So you would start by talking about options or possibilities or a plan B, whatever. So there's usually always something that you can be doing in order to move more towards your goals and desires, in order to live a more aligned life. And this is why I encourage you not to delay the alignment work indefinitely, not to delay it until you're totally fine and pain-free, because actually some sort of alignment comes first, and then the symptoms can go away more easily because you would feel happier and more satisfied with your life. Okay, that's all for today, guys. I wish you all a lovely day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.